Dr.
Good
Lucita,
morning.
kindly. Good
Good
morning.
morning. Thank you,
Good
Lady Noel.
morning.
How are you?
I'm fantastic.
It's a beautiful Monday morning. We are in the second half of the year. Imagine 2026 is almost lapsing. We are Power Monday. We are the powerhouse. We demystify the fact that Mondays are boring days, and we gather here every single Monday as from 7:15 to 8:15, except when it is a public holiday in Kenya. Not only do we meet virtually, we meet physically as what we term as meet and greet. We meet quarterly, and the last quarter is culminated with a dinner. And this year, we are going to revive the vibe. And you couldn't miss that vibe, trust me. We discuss diverse topics, and oh my, I always say, who knows, you might make your first million from this session. And the sessions are absolutely free. And as always say, we thank God for the founders and the board for heeding to the voice of the Lord to hear and to live purposefully, because I know they do, and that is what they profess. Today I'm doing a poem titled The Mountains I Missed. Maybe you missed some mountains, I don't know. Did you miss the mountains and you focused on the valleys more? Or what did you not do, or what did you do? The mountains I missed. I have worked in the valley so long that I almost forgot the language of mountains. The mountains I missed were never absent, but me, I was very absent. I was busy chasing the applause, busy surviving the storms, busy convincing myself that flat ground was all that I had to offer. But then I missed the mountains. The mountains. Some mountains were opportunities, some other mountains were people, some were prayers that I was too impatient to wait for, and others were just dreams that I just decided to abandon because fear disguised itself as wisdom, and then I missed the mountain. The mountains I missed still stand, they are still there. I don't know whether to pursue them, but then I missed them. Not mocking me, not laughing at my failure, simply waiting with patience. Patience only creation can afford. The funny thing is about mountains, they do not lower themselves because you lacked the courage, they remain majestic and moved calling because sincerely I missed those mountains. I have learned that regret is a heavy backpack you cannot climb while carrying every what if only I had a chance. But remember, you missed the mountains while looking at it. And then I forgive the younger me who mistook comfort for peace, who confused delay with preparations, who let opinions of spectators be louder than the whispers of purpose. So I missed my purpose, and then I missed my mountain that I should have climbed. And yet, perhaps the greatest strategy is not the mountain I missed. Perhaps the greatest strategy will be seeing the next one, hearing it call me by my name and feeling my heart awakened. And then I choose the valley one more time. But I'm here saying no. I let my knees shake. I let my lungs burn. I let my path be steep. Let the climb humble me, because this time I'm not going to miss the mountains. And then I'll finally stand on the summit of the mountain I once thought was impossible. I'll not mourn the mountains I missed. I'll thank them. Because while I missed them, I found purpose in the valley. Because what I missed taught me that it's never the end of my story. It's only the beginning, because again, I'm going to dream again and climb the mountain again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Where is Noel?
Goodness. Thank you very much. I was having a problem with unmuting. Dr. Lucita, that's such a timely poem. With this being the second half of the year, I'm pretty sure there's some of us who feel I should have done XYZ in the in the first half of the year, and I didn't do it. Still have time. You can still do it. And I love the part where you say that, I'll just paraphrase, but the most painful part is chasing another valley instead of chasing that mountain that you missed. That's a very beautiful poem. Okay, I call upon Mercy Okot, who is going to introduce the guest speaker of the day. And then immediately after Mercy, the guest speaker of the day, the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Power Monday. I hope you can hear me now. Okay, awesome.
I can hear you and we can see you.
You can't see me?
Your video is you were on at some point.
I know. My video is on my laptop, my audio is on my phone.
Oh, go on.
Okay. So yeah, it's my privilege and my pleasure today to introduce the speaker of the day, who is my namesake. The speaker of the day is none other than Mercy Kimani. Mercy Kimani holds an MSc in Management and Organizational Development from the USIU Africa. She holds early childhood education, nutrition, and counseling from Kenya Methodist University, deaf studies from the University of Nairobi, and she's also a certified sign language interpreter, performance consultant, and trainer at Carnegie, East Africa. Mercy's career started at the University of Nairobi, where for 6 years, she was involved in sign language interpretation and advocacy for the students with disabilities for mainstreaming and awareness. She also was involved under the Dean of Students Office to overlook the transition and training of the students' leaders. Mercy has had enormous experience as a business development professional, trainer, and facilitator of various forums, organizations, and SMEs over the last 12 years. Her passion for human capacity development has led her to vigorously seek growth and development of the human potential through transformational experience. And today we are lucky to be her audience, so let's join our hands together as we welcome Mercy. Karibu sana Mercy. We are glad and happy to have you on board.
Thank you very much. I sincerely appreciate the introduction. Thank you, Mercy. And thank you also, Otieno, Paul, Peter, for the invite. Happy to be here and to meet everybody who is logged in, and happy to just be here. I think today is the new July, if I can say, the first Monday of this, like half of this year. So we had 1st July and today we have, and so it's just starting. And so as we begin, it's a good day to just think around our skills around public speaking. I'm very passionate about public speaking. And this again goes back to my history. Let me say history because every journey starts somewhere. I realized when I left employment and went into business, a lot is dependent on what you say, how you say it, and how people look at, working with you. So I think it's a very important skill to have. It's one of the skills in communication, and communication has many skills, but one of it is speaking, and we have to really work on it. I believe every one of us as a leader, we have to, build that. It's one of the drivers of success. And it's almost, when you see a good public speaker or a good communicator, they'll also be a good leader. And it goes hand in hand. So we can't have one and leave the other one out. I'm excited to be speaking to business leaders, to people who are career growing, and we really need to applaud ourselves for choosing every Monday morning to come together and equip ourselves, because we can't pour from an empty cup. We pour from what is already a lot in ourselves.
So this morning, as we share together, I'll be speaking on the part for public speaking. It's a short, just a snippet. I know we do more around this. We at Dale Carnegie, Kenya, we have the high impact presentations class where we take 2 whole days. 2 whole days, you do 6 presentations, we take videos, and it's a real practical experience for everybody. But today we just want to touch on some snippet, things we can start doing, and making sure that every conversation we have with our leaders or with our audience is a memorable one. So maybe we could begin by writing on the chat, do you have any speech or any talk or any pitch planned for this month of July? What is planned for you? Maybe you can write on the chat anything in your schedule this July that you'll be speaking to an audience. So please write to us. Will you be speaking to customers? Will you be speaking to your clients? Will you be speaking to a big audience, a small group? Are they your colleagues? Are they strangers? Who will you be speaking to this month of July? And what is the talk about? So as we write that, we have one thing to think about, that anytime you come to the audience, whether it's a small group or a big group, it's the one skill, but one skill, but in every room. So from the chat, some people are saying I'll be speaking to my customers and potential customers this week. Thanks, Tabitha, for sharing that. And I've also seen Jane is saying I'll be training 30 church leaders on holistic development. Fantastic, thank you. Somebody else will be speaking on marriage. That's Otieno. I speak in many forums this month. I will speak about communication in marriage. Fantastic. So that's where it all starts. Vincent will be speaking on retirement. Thank you. So now that we have an idea, it's good to prepare. The best thing that would really, really help us is to, and you'll see as we continue speaking, is our level of preparation. The more we are prepared, the better it becomes. And no matter how much we prepare, we still get surprises. So it's just good to speak what you've been practicing. When we talk about speaking, it's about what have you been practicing. Make it, do like rehearsals. Every time you speak to people, it's rehearsal. When I wanted to move my career from sign language interpreting and I wanted to go into public speaking, because I used to voice for the deaf when I interpret, I got a mentor, and the mentor told me, Mercy, you have to find an audience. Every week for 2 hours, you must be in front of an audience for you to practice, and make it permanent. So he said, practice doesn't make it, we'd say practice makes perfect. He said, no, there's no perfection. Practice makes permanent. So whatever the room you find yourself in, your ability to connect with confidence always changes the outcome. You really have to have the 3 E's. I call them the 3 E's. 1 E says you've earned the right. So ask yourself that before you leave where you are and you start going to, before you confirm that meeting, that appointment, please ask yourself, have I earned the right? Have I earned the right to speak to this audience? You either earn the right either by experience or by study. So if something you've studied about, if Vincent retirement is your space, if Jane holistic development is your space, you have earned the right, and it will give you confidence when it comes to speaking. Now, Anthony Mugo is saying, I'll speak to Rotarians to pitch for a medical camp project. Again, we have to ask you, have I earned the right? And if the answer is yes, then you already one tick into the box. Tabitha is saying, I'll be speaking to my customers and potential customers this week, pitching business ideas. And that's exactly what we need to think around. So Edda, thank you. Human Life Cycle, Catholic Social Teaching, Young Christian Adults, Apostles of Jesus. Thank you. And also, this is Siriram. You're saying you speak about your fallen leaf plates made from fallen leaf. Yes, giving livelihood to rural women. Fantastic. So all these are areas that we speak about, and people are waiting to hear. But if you've not earned the right by study or by experience, then you will discount yourself. The other E is Are you eager? Are you eager to tell your audience? Are you eager to project your value to the audience? Because you could have underwrite, but it's like you don't want us to know what you know. It's like you're not really keen on us getting to know. But if you're really eager to project that value, if it's a value of sustainability, if it's a value of recycling, if it's a value of the need for medical camp or the impact, then you will find the passion comes. Because when we speak to people, we connect in two ways. One is the logic, where we connect with the mind, so it has to logically flow. The other one is the emotion. Every one of us, we listen from our soul, we listen from our spirit, and we need to feel that I connect with you. And that is where we align our values. That what you're speaking speaks to something in me, and therefore it connects. So the first E is you underwrite by study or experience. The second one is you're eager to project the value of what you believe in. And the final one is you're excited. You have to be excited about what you want to speak about. And don't start speaking by apologizing and saying, "Oh, sorry, guys, I have a flu, and I was just called in a hurry, or I didn't get time to prepare." Nobody knows that. So don't tell the people what project what you want them to know, not what you're feeling. Sometimes you feel unprepared. You don't need to tell people you feel unprepared. You don't need to tell people I'm feeling afraid, because you're giving people energy. The kind of energy you need to give them is confidence, and that's what you've said. So you need to connect with confidence when you come to a room. So whether you're pitching a business idea, like some of us have said, or you're a leader and you have an executive team and you have to rally people around a certain vision, or you're addressing a community, like somebody will be speaking to church leaders, and you're turning a concern into a shared action, you have to remember, whatever the room, the one secret is connect with confidence. Identify where do we come in and where do I add value in this room. Now, there are three frameworks. Of course, there is one, confident you. Always remember you are the message. Sometimes the PowerPoints can fail, power can go off, anything can happen. You can forget the notes where you wrote. So you need to really know that you are the message. And anything else we use is just an assistant. The PowerPoint is an assistant. If you have props, the better they are assisting you. But you are the message. And you have to have a vision for your speaking. Ask yourself, when I have done my speaking and I have gone, what is it I would like people to remember? If we met with somebody 10 years to come or 5 years to come and say, "Mercy, I listened to you one day," what is it you'd like them to say? And I'll request you write that on the chat. Which is one word you'd like to hear people say about you that you think it would make it worth in your speaking, in your speech, after you've spoken to this audience that you've written there on the group, you've spoken to that church group or to those Rotarians or to your clients. What is the one word? And think of an adjective or just a word. I know they could say a sentence, but what is one word you'd wish to hear them? They don't know you're listening, but imagine they were just talking and they can't see you, but they're just giving a feedback and they were saying, "This is something I remember," or "This is something about the speaker we had today." All right, thank you, Maridi. Maridi saying impact. Fantastic, thank you. So let's think of that word. For you, Naomi, you're speaking about empowering the young Maasai mothers economically. What is that word you'd like them to say after you? Jane, you're saying transformative. Thank you, Liz. Influence. RM, you're saying depth. Awesome. And so the work we have now is to unpack this. What does influence look like for you, Liz? What does depth look like? What is impact? What is transformation? So that the more you unpack it, then you have a clarity of focus of the destination, so that when you start to speak, then you have a goal in the end of the mind. At the end of the day, this is my job, that it will be a transformative talk. It will be an impactful talk. So it's important to think about what is the impact that you want to create, so that everything you do in your talk, in your speech, then carries that spirit of transformation or of impact. So what we need to think through is first to think that way. Speaking is like building a house. If today I told you sketch a house, sketch a small house, most people start with the roof. So you draw the roof and then go the walls and then finally put the windows and maybe put the door. But if you started to build that house, definitely you start at the ground. You actually excavate, and then you put the walls, and you leave the windows, and then finally the roof comes up. So when we plan to speak, it's opposite of how we speak. So that's one technicality about speaking. You cannot speak the way you plan, and you cannot plan the way you speak. So there have to be two things. The planning phase of your conversation is around what do you want to see, and give the picture, and you start at the end and work back. When you start speaking, you start at the bottom and you go up. You see? So structure your thoughts. So a simple framework that will help you to organize any message on the spot. And that is what we'll talk about today. Number two, there's something about the nerves. And this is always something we have to speak about, because in Dale Carnegie, for over 114 years, we've been known to really work with individuals to overcome these nerves and this speaking fear, when sometimes people feel scared and they're shaking and they would rather be dead than be reading the eulogy in a funeral, So again, we want to see what are the Dale Carnegie techniques to convert anxiety to energy. And finally, we'll just speak about delivery with impact. Many people have mentioned you want to bring impact. And if you want to bring impact, then you need to think around how do we make our message memorable and unforgettable? Because we have so many things. By the time 10 o'clock reaches, 2 hours from now, you will have many things going on, and you may even forget, oh, what did we hear in the morning? So it's always good to remember that people, especially if you're talking to adult audience and people who are not sitting exams, because again, if the audience is sitting an exam, they have another reason to remember, because they have to remember to pass exams. But if you're speaking to people who do not need to do exams, they don't need to remember you, then you have to have more effort in making your talk memorable. So let's start with the structure. And this is a framework. It's just a simple framework. And this is by Dale Carnegie. We call it the magic formula for influencing action. So think of it. Any speech you have, any update, anything, it's just 3 things: a pitch, an update, and a toast, if you think of it like that. So think of the incident, the action you want people to take, and what will be their benefit. So for example, let's say I am going to speak to people who I want to participate in my medical camp, like I saw one of the examples there. So what is the incident? We have to think of incidents are evidences. What evidence do you have to present? And there are 7, are they 7 or 5? So think of the acronym DEFEATS. So we say evidence defeats doubt. So, and I'll put it there on the chart so that we look at this together. Because we have to remember, anytime you start speaking, you arouse doubt in people. You say something, some people are thinking, yeah, will it work? Is it possible? What is this? What is that? There's always a question in somebody's mind. So you need to settle that first, so that people don't go into disbelief and people don't go into fear first. People need to identify with you and give you attention. Because if they pay attention, then they can hear what you're saying. And then you can give them the action you want them to take. And they still ask, okay, then why do you want us to do that? Why would you want me to attend the medical camp? Why do you want me to plan for my retirement? Why do you want me to buy sustainable plates or eco-friendly plates? And there could be many reasons that you will put in that are logically correct. And we need to remember, human beings, we are not creatures of logic. And this is how Dale Carnegie observed it. And he said, we are creatures of emotion. So if you remember that every human being you're speaking to is a creature of emotion, not logic, then we reduce on our specific, sometimes you speak and it's all about, the facts and the statistics and the, specifications and all these scientifically proven, aspects. And that's okay. You will really inform people. Because again, that's the danger. When you're speaking, you can either inform people, you can entertain them, you can convince them. But the best is when you can make them take an action. So at the bottom level of speaking, where the response from the audience is required is very low and your purpose for speaking is very low, then you entertain people. And think of any entertainment. If you're listening to radio or watching telly, they don't think you're there. They hope you're there, but they're not expecting to speak or give back feedback. Even if you switch off and move into something else or you reduce the volume, the impact they really don't expect you to come back to you and have a conversation. No, they don't. So that's the level of entertainment, and it's a good level to start at. After that, the next level is information. And the level of information is where you speak to an audience. Your purpose for speaking is very high, but the response required of them is very low. So imagine like you're at the airport or at the railway station and they make an announcement. Those ones they make on the microphone there in the loudspeaker. And so they say train number or on railway number this or track number 478, please get boarding in 2 minutes, or flight to Zanzibar. If you're not going to Zanzibar, you'll not even care what they're saying, because to you, that's not your flight. But if you hear something like, oh, that's my flight, then you take action, you see. So we need to remember, we will have to remember that what is the purpose for my communication? If it's very high, and I want the response from the audience also to be very high, then I need to think about that. So you can have a very low, you have low purpose and low response expectation, you entertain. When you have high purpose of your communication, but the response from the audience is still low, that's you inform the people. Then there's another way to look at it, where your response from the audience is very high, but your purpose for it was very low. And so at that point, you convince people. And there are many speakers who convince people. Honestly, they convince people, but they still don't take action. And you've seen people who are convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt that they should save for retirement, they should plan for retirement, but they don't do it. They should stop smoking because it's bad for their health and it's ruining their lungs, and they know it. They even have studied a PhD in it, but they still take breaks to go and smoke and come back to the lecture. So what we need to think through is then where do we need to arrive at? And really, if you want people to take action, you have to match your purpose of the communication has to be high, and the purpose of response from the people has to be high. And then they will take action. And this is how it is. So always give one incident, one action, and one benefit. So if you think of that acronym that we've put there, the defeats, and I would like to give us a small quiz. Please give me a name, a definition for each. So D, what would D mean? What would E mean? What would F mean? You know? So defeat. So think of that and just give me any word you think represents. This is an acronym. This defeats is an acronym. So when we talk about defeats, it's an acronym. And D would stand for what? It's the best form of evidence. It's really the best form of evidence. It's what is really proven to be the best form of evidence, that if you use this in your audience, then the doubt level goes very low, like almost zero. What is it you can do to make sure people believe you very fast and they don't doubt what you're talking about? And
data.
It starts with, yes? Data. Okay, now data, I'll put it as S, which is statistics. So data, we'll put it as S, is the statistics. Thank you for that trial. Somebody else? Diagram. All right, yeah, so let's work with that. So diagram, but it's a demonstration. So it's an illustration. So demonstration, which would be a form of demonstration. You can use a diagram. You can do a demo where you show people 3D, like you can simulate, you know, and you can give people an experience. You can let them touch, feel, smell, taste, and that way it's a demonstration. So think of it like when you go to a supermarket and some people are telling you, oh, this is the best yogurt, and they tell you, would you like to sample a little? And you taste a little, and you're like, I think I like it. So we need to think of that. So it's demonstration. So when you demonstrate, and you have to think of what you're going to talk about, how will you demonstrate what you're talking about? So you can use a diagram, you can use a demo, you can use a prop, you can just experience, give people the experience, people can taste or samples, you can draw, yes, for example. So this is important to think, how will I demonstrate what I want to talk about? Then we have E, and the first E is for what? Let's see. Thank you for that message. What do you think is the E? The E. Explain. Example. Yes, thank you. Let's go with example. Awesome. Awesome. Yes, so ask yourself, what examples will I give of what I'm talking about? What examples will I give? You need to have at least 5 examples, because you can't tell me something and I'm thinking, oh, do I need to buy? Maybe I'm the first customer. You need to think about what examples can you use? And then F, what is F for? And there's another E also. So let's think of the other E also. And there's A. So we still have 2 to go or 3 to go. All right, function, empower, engage. Thanks for trying. So F is for what? Focus. No, it's for facts. Facts. So we need to, yeah, thanks, Lucy. Yes, for facts. So when you think about facts, we say facts tell, but stories sell. So it's not like you are not supposed to have facts. Please bring the facts. But remember, all they'll do, they'll align to my logical thinking as an audience. So facts are important. Sometimes in your audience, you have very logical people seated there and they are very analytical. They want to find out with their brain and they want to decide on facts. So bring facts, and you must have a fact sheet to be able to support what you're talking about. And then we have another E. And this E starts with the what? E for something that's really, really used in courts. Let me give you a hint. If you go to the court of law, they will have something that will be proving that this person who has been accused actually did what they were accused of doing. So they will show some evidence. All these are forms of evidence. Thank you, Vincent. Thank you, Shiro. These are all forms of evidence, but there is one form of evidence that is starting with an E.
Exhibit.
Yes. Thank you. And thank you, Andrew. Exactly. It's an exhibit. Yes. So we have to ask ourselves, do we have any exhibit? You know, sometimes the other day, Peter showed me a photo of somebody receiving a book he's written. That was an exhibit. I saw it and I said, can I get a copy? And I asked him, can I buy? So if he didn't post that on his status, maybe I would not have known he writes books. I would not have known the titles. So exhibits are those. They are flyers, they are books, they are tangible things that somebody can see. They are photographs, they could be videos. Yes, and then we have 2 more to go. A is for what? And this is when you have to really, really speak in a good story. And this is the hallmark of training and of being a good speaker, because sometimes there's nothing else to show apart from your mouth and what you're speaking about. What can we use? Action. Thank you, Shiro. Think of another idea. We use it in storytelling. Think if you're explaining complex ideas about your product or service, and now the people you are talking to don't have an idea what you're talking about, but you have to still tell them something and you have to explain.
Analogy.
Yes, fantastic. Yes, thank you, Lucy. Yes, analogies. And we really need to get good at this. And now with AI, I don't think anyone really has a reason not to carry an analogy for your presentation. And it just starts just like this is this, so is this and that. So it's wonderful. Finally, let's have the T. T, I know it's not very difficult. And we have it every day. Every time we hear it, we carry it along. And this is sometimes what customers say of their experience with our products or services.
Oh, testimony.
Yes, fantastic. Yes, testimony. Fantastic. There we go. Yes, Lucy. Thank you, Samba. Yes, so statistics. Let me see. Statistics. I think I had not spelled it right. So there we go. So these are the forms of evidence. And we've said evidence defeats doubt. So when you're giving your talk, when you're giving your speech, at the point you're starting with the incident, then what you need to think through is, how can I use any form of those in the incident? So give a story, use an analogy, use a testimonial, even if it's a song or it's a video, show people, let them experience that. So you need to be able to start with a specific story or an example and really make it real. Start with a story. That's what we say, start with a story. And in the story, you put your evidence there, so that then people are caught up with the mystery, the surprise factor, so that it comes together very well. Because if you just tell them, take action, buy my plates, they are from recycled material. They allow the women to have impact in the village. fine, it's logically correct, but I may not take action. So you may inform me with that, but I may not take action. So we want to appeal both to the logic and to the emotion. Then after that, you will tell the story or the action. Which action do you want them to take? Or what would you like them to do? And then the benefit, where you show the payoff. What is in it for them? And this is where most people sometimes make an error. They think the benefits for themselves. No, you know your benefit already. You know what it's in for you if you do what you're saying. But what's in it for them? So ask yourself, and going back to our conversation there on this topics, the topics we are asking our people to speak about. So we really have to ask ourselves, fine, what's the benefit? So for you, Anthony, you said you want to be impactful. That's about you, yeah, that's what you want. What about your audience? RM, you said you want depth. What does that mean to your audience? Liz, you talked about influence. What does that mean for your audience? What's their benefit? After they've done what you've told them to do, what is in it for them? What will be their benefit? And that becomes very clear. So when you're planning, you plan it like that. So this is how you will speak. You will speak with the incident, action, benefit. But when you're planning, we said you start the other way around. You start with the action because you know what you want. So when in your planning notes, where you're writing your notes, say, what action would I like people to take? For example, I would want people to buy my biodegradable plates. My eco-friendly plates. That's what I want. How many dozens? Okay, I want these 5, 10 boxes or 20 boxes. Okay, then I want the impact to the women to be this much. Or I want, maybe I sell glasses. Let's say I sell maybe these pouches. It's a pencil pouch. So that's what I want. So the action is everybody buys 10 pieces of pouches. Or for Peter, you sell books. So you say the action is, I would want people to buy 10 copies of my books. All right. Or if for me who does training, I would say I would want 20 people to enroll in my program. So that's the action. It's clear for you, you know it. So write your action and see what's the benefit for you. In the planning, you need to know, yeah, this is how much I'll earn, this is how happy I'll feel, this is what I would think around. On my deathbed, I'll remember I made an impact to the world because I did this. That is for you. Now, once you clear for you, then think of what is the benefit for the other person, the person you're going to speak to. What is their gain? What is their benefit? And you write another column. Behave like you're the advocate of your client, and say, this is your loss if you don't get what I'm telling you. This is your gain if you do it. And then now think which story applies to this. So you'll start action, benefit, incident in the planning. But in the speaking, you speak like this. You start with the story, you go to the action, and you go to the benefit. So if you're given 2 minutes, your phrase would start like, there I was seated under a tree, and I looked at some women in the village. And this is the village I grew up in. And every woman did the same work every morning. And because our village is in the tropics, we are surrounded with so many bananas. And at every banana we cut to eat the banana, we threw away the bark, and more so we threw away the fiber. And an idea came to me, what if we created plates that would be eco-friendly? And today, and you give the story of your company and what you've done. And then you say, this is your, when you participate in this is the difference you make, this is the impact you make, and you'll bring the impact there when you use plastics and what happens and all those things that come together. So really build your case with the incidents part using the forms of evidence. So think of a demonstration, think of a testimonial, think of a fact, think of some statistics, package them nicely there. Then call the action. Action has to be very clear. This is my appeal to all of us. If only another 20,000 families were able to use this, if every cooking party, and you can say, imagine how many weddings happen in Africa. We have our big weddings here. So you can say, let's say every Saturday we have 50 weddings, and every wedding has to use plates. Supposing all these plates were, eco-friendly and the impact it would make. So we have to think of, how do we appeal? And then to the audience we are speaking to, everybody has what they're looking for. Some of us are financial buyers. We think from money perspective. Others think from user perspective. They think, okay, how is the user friendliness of your product? Others will think from a technical aspect of it. And others will think, well, from an emotional drive, and they'll say, yeah, if you save the world, then I better do it. So think of your audience and what appeals to them. And this is the framework. The next thing to think through is to think around then, how do you then come and speak? Because what you say is very important, and we've worked on that. And I know a lot of people spend a lot of time on what to say, but I can tell you it only amounts to 7% of the conversation. It's that bad. Like, you prepare all these slides and all these things, and all people remember is 7% of what you said. But how you said it takes the bigger chunk. Over 80% of our speech or our talk is how we say things. So you could have something awesome to say, but how you say it is not. And look at composers of music versus singers of music. Somebody composes the music, they write the lyrics, but they can't sing it, they can't bring it to life. So the power is in how we do it. And so the framework number 2 is confidence. So framework number 1 is the structure, which gives you confidence to know that you'll do it. But now it's confidence in how you come across. So every great speaker feels the same flutter. Always remember that. We all have butterflies. You just make sure they fly in one direction. Let not them be just going up and down, in and out. You just have to get a rhythm. Let them fly in the same direction. So what we need to think is prepare what you're going to, but please don't memorize. People can tell when you're memorizing what you're talking about. So don't memorize, just imagine your key points, and that's okay. Just have a conversation, make it natural. Then you need to breathe and anchor. When you're speaking, breathe, feel yourself breathing. Don't speak and now, and this was happening, and you're really running out of breath. No, you have to really make it a conversation. Take small pauses. Breathe in and let people think. Sometimes you tell somebody to write something. As they are writing, it's your time to breathe in. Because it goes and calms your mind. So have a conversation. And that's why we say rehearse it. Rehearse it with somebody. If you're not with somebody, just do it on camera and just watch yourself. Then we need to reframe the feeling. Anytime you feel nervous, maybe just say you're excited. It's not fear. It's just that you're excited. And I remember my mentor, he was my upline, when I did network marketing. And he told me, he used to say it's exciting for anything. You tell him bad news, it's exciting. Good news, it's exciting. And one day I asked him, Fred, how comes everything is exciting? He said, Mercy, we've been wired to think excitement is only happiness. But that's not the thing. If you look at the definition of exciting, it's a height in emotion. Whether it was caused by happiness or sadness, it's not the case. And so he kept saying it's exciting. So think of it. What you feel in your body is actually excitement. That's exactly it. So don't think about nerves and all these things and think it's fear. It's just that you're excited. You've never met these people before, and what you're telling them is amazing, and you just can't wait to see the impact that you have on them. And so with that, the body gets excited, and so you feel a bit the nerves you feel about. So remember, if you say you're excited, the body can't tell the difference. But if you say I'm scared, you will really be scared. And one thing we say, leave your mind, focus outside. Anytime you feel nervous, remember you have left all of us in the audience and you've gone inside your mind and you're there with yourself and you've left us watching you. So you have to shift attention for how do I look? How am I feeling? What are they thinking about me? To how can I help them? These people seated here, these people listening, they've given me attention for the next 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 1 hour, whatever time they've given you. How can I help them? And so long as you're thinking of them, you will not think of yourself and how you're feeling nervous. So let's remember that. If you leave us seated on the chairs and you go into your mind, you go inside you. You go inside your mind, then you leave us there and it won't work. So this is the next framework, which is confidence. The last one, again, I need to mention this because sometimes you're speaking on a virtual audience, like I'm doing today. And honestly, if you're a bad speaker in a face-to-face training or workshop or pitch, you will be worse online. Honestly, it just brings out the worst of all of us. So even if you're such a competent speaker in a face-to-face meeting, online can bring all disaster. So we need to remember that online is not a normal, conversation. Human beings, this is technology that has come out of technology and innovation and all this. The natural way of people speaking, even from ancient days, we spoke face to face. And that's why we communicated. And that's why 75% of communication is nonverbal. So when you have to speak through the screen, you must connect through the screen. then it can feel like the loneliest. It's the most lonely stage, especially when people don't switch on their cameras. Oh my God, you just feel like you're speaking to a blank screen. So these habits, they help to close the distance. And so what I'll do, I will share this so that then we can be able to do it. So you need to look at the lens. For example, if I look like this, I'm looking at my screen. If I look here, then I'm looking at my lens. So I'm looking at you. So again, eye contact with the camera. It's also eye contact with the audience. So look at them from there. If you must put your photo, the photo screen that is there, and shift it to the top middle of your screen so that it's focused. You're seeing yourself, you're also looking at the people, then it works. Then you have to energize your voice 20%. So again, don't do a virtual call in a room that you're scared, there are people listening. Get a booth or a closed room, because the screen flattens emotions. And we've said people are connecting 90% on emotion. So you have to be deliberate to lift your tone and to lift your pace. Again, don't be too quick because the screen also flattens that. Then you have to use your hands and use your face, you see? So visible gestures, expressions, they bring a lot of weight. Please name the people, invite responses, let people write something on the chat, let somebody, draw something if you can do it, especially if it's a long one. If you're going to have 90 minutes online or 2 hours online, you really, really have to work it out to keep people engaged because the attention span is very short. So combine. So the last one is impact. And this is what most people said they will want to say. So Maya Angelou, again, it was a Dale Carnegie principle that says people forget what you said. That I can tell you for sure. People don't remember much of what people said, but they remember how they felt. They remember they felt important, or they felt cared for, they felt learned, they felt smart. So again, for us, our challenge is we need to tell a story. We need to give it in details. For example, I want to give you a story and I want to give you details that you see whether it will be memorable. So this is my story. And this story is a story I would like to share with you to make it memorable. So I found myself yesterday near a huge box factory located on a high hill. Running all around this box factory building was a picket fence about this high. I walked up to the factory, threw open the door, and I found myself near a long hallway. At the far end of the hallway was a spiral staircase. I walked up the spiral staircase, pushed open the sliding door, and I found myself in a huge room piled high with boxes. There were small boxes. There were middle-sized boxes. And there were big, big boxes. Suddenly, the boxes came tumbling over my head. I woke up with a start. I yawned. I stretched and went back to sleep. Thank you. And that's the end of my story. So, what does it say? When you tell a story, people have to feel like they're in it. You have to tell them what you saw. Tell them how it felt. If it was a picket fence, how high? Was it running around? If it was a sliding door, did you push it open? Did you just throw it open? Was it an open door? Was it a revolving door? You really have to be descriptive so that people can walk with you. They can feel what you felt, see what you saw, and then they will be part of the story. And one day they'll think, was I in that story or did somebody tell me the story? Then you know it was a good story. So please don't give a summary, tell a story, in that way and bring it alive, because anybody can read anything, but if it's brought alive, then you feel you know what happened in the story. And then before your key lines, you need to pause. You pause because silence signals the importance, and it lets it land to the audience mind. And then at the end, just ask one clear ask. It has to be one ask. Don't give 3 asks. Remember, we are busy, you not remember. It's just 1 ask. And tonight or this morning, my ask for all of us is tell a story. Energize your communication. Doesn't matter what you're saying, but how you say it. Bring it alive. Bring it alive. So when you're coming to your speech, this will be a quick reference. Know your one key. What's the one thing I want everybody to remember? What's that one thing I want people to remember? If you said it's impact, which impact? If you said it's transformation, for me, the one key message I wanted to bring this morning is energize your communication. Energize your communication. Bring it alive. Demonstrate what you're saying. Show us, don't tell us. We've said open with an incident or a story or a statistics. When you come to speak, sometimes people start by saying, my name is Kimani. Now it's very common and all that. But if you're starting and let's say the MC did not warm up the room for you, then you have a lot of work to do. Your opening, you must have an opening. And an opening is it's a statistic, it's a video, it's a quote. And you can just open the room by saying that. One way to be a fool is to walk with fools or, whatever. But startle, it has to be a startling statement. There are so many quotes, and today with AI, you can ask, give me quotes on this or give me quotes on that. Or you can start with a story and then unpack your story in the conversation. It helps to bring people to remember, but they must be connected. Please don't give an analogy that doesn't connect with the what you're selling. They has to connect. The other thing we've said is breathe, slow breaths. And where you are seated right now, try and do that.
Oh, Mercy, we have run out of time.
Sorry. Right, so this is it. And that was the last slide. Thank you so much. So we've said structure your conversation, own your nerves, and make it unforgettable. Every conversation you have is a chance to practice. So please give yourself as many opportunities as possible and start with the next one. So I don't know if we have time for a question or two. If there is, fine. If there isn't, I'm also happy to get it offline. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mercy. I think for the purposes of time, we are going to do everything else, and then after that, we are going to answer a question or two. But I want to invite Maurice Omondi, who is going to give the vote of thanks. Karibu sana, Maurice. Maurice?
Maurice, where art thou?
Okay, and there was silence in the house. Can I call upon someone else? Antonia, can you kindly do us the honors of giving the vote of thanks?
Let me do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think just to go with time, as Antonia and maybe Maurice, I've not seen Maurice, I saw him, I think it dropped. Mercy, it's been great pleasure. I can see the enthusiasm that as you talked about earning the right and all these other things, we can see it in your face. And I'm very excited to have attended this. It's been quite refreshing, reminding me all that I had been learning and bringing it back to life. It's quite refreshing. I wish we had a whole day to listen to this and even practice. You see, and even practice and get feedback. It's quite beautiful. I loved it, and I believe all our participants also managed to benefit from it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much as our speaker. We also want to thank all the people who joined. It's because of you that this room is warm. So we welcome you again and again every Monday using the same link, same way, same time. Mark it in your calendar and keep joining. We thank all the the entities that are supporting this, that are sponsoring this. Power Monday is an initiative of Live Your Dream Enterprises Limited, and as a CSR. And so we thank Live Your Dream. We thank ICT Gurus that provides the platform and all the logistics for the same. And the last 3 months, we've also been sponsored by Falcon Insights Global that provides enterprise development. And so we thank them all. ICT Gurus puts organizations online. Live Your Dream is an enterprise development organization supporting MSMEs to start and build their businesses. So we thank all those. We thank the board, that is including Noel, the standing moderator, all the Mondays except when she delegates. We thank Melvin, Dr. Melvin Lima, for being one of the board members and a technical advisor, a senior person. We thank Diambola Ale and Antonia for all their contributions and making sure that this thing works. Thank you all, and we welcome you again and again to keep joining us. After this, we are going to have a brief session of Q&A. So we just want it to end by 8:15, then we move to the informal part. But thank you, and you can also join our WhatsApp group. We have a WhatsApp group, and you just need to fill in the form. I had given a link. You can follow this on channel. We will post this recording in the WhatsApp channel. It's open for everyone. And we also welcome you to join in the coming activities, the physical meetings, that is meet and greet and dinner. Thank you all.